and here I have to edit something, is to tell to my root table, look, if any request that comes to you telling you that I want to go to outside, that means 0.0.0.0 slash 0 means the internet take it to the internet gateway. Then I save the changes. Right? And I will do the same thing for my DC account. So I will come here, right? Then organ region, then go to or search here for VPC. Then I check this one. Then I create a VPC. In this VPC, I will create only two subnets, one public and one private. And in the public subnet, I will create two EC2 instances, one as my worker node for my cluster or my Kubernetes cluster, and the other one as my open swan. Because this open swan, I want it to have a public IP address, right? This open swan is like the router, is like Cisco router, right? So for example, if you have a data center, then that router, or if you go to ADSL, this ADSL will give you a public IP address that you will pay for it, right, monthly or every year. Then this public IP address, it will be known all over the world, so everyone outside can access to it. But of course, it will not access to the resource that is behind it, because you have to enable the firewalls. Otherwise, you will be hacked and everyone can access to your resource and your data, right? But just to explain you and to illustrate what is the open swan. An open swan, it is as a router, right? A Cisco router that will enable you to have a public IP address and a private IP address. So it translates, or the traffic that is come to one internet interface, it is transmitted or give it to the other internet interface. So the interface that is attached to the outside means to the public IP address, and the other internet interface, it is attached to the private IP address. In our case, this CIDR block IP address. So let me come back here and create VPC in my DC account. So your VPC, and then call it my VPC. Then I will give it 24.0.0.16. Sorry, 6, not 2. Then go down here and then create the VPC. Next thing is to create public subnet. That's my VPC. Call it public subnet 1, the first availability zone, and for the CIDR 6.24.1.1.0.24. And then create private subnets. call it private subnet 1 in my second availability zone. Then the CIDR block IP address, then the IP address of the subnet, right? Then so this all of this 24 bits for the IP address portion, this one, and this one, the rest of 8 bits is for the host ID. Then I create the subnet. Right? So what is the next step now? The next step is to create two EC2 instances, right? Within my public subnet. Go to instance, then I launch instances. We'll choose this Amazon Linux distribution for Linux. Then I will go with the default configuration. I will launch two EC2 instances, right? The other EC2 instance is just to test if the pings works well or not, right? Then we will launch our worker node and our master node. And for the network, I will choose my VPC, and they will choose my public subnet, right? I didn't forget to add the internet gateway and other stuff. They will come back to that, right? I have to enable, then add storage, add the tag security, and then here call it VPN site to site, then review and launch. I don't have any key pair, so I have to create a new one, and they will call it VPN site. I will download it, then launch it. So once the instances are launched, let me come back here to our VPC and try to finish our configuration for that VPC. So let me enable the auto assign IP address settings for my public subnet. I don't do the same for private subnet because private subnet will not have public IP address. Will have only the private IP address. Sorry, subnet. We'll enable it, then save that. I will go to row tables, call it private